Am I in the wrong for disowning my wife's daughter after she chose her mom's affair partner over me? I, 35 male, met my now soon-to-be ex-wife, 33 female, during uni 12 years ago. She already had a kid when she was 19, but the dad left as soon as she started uni. We were dating for 3 months before I met her daughter, Lisa. I remember seeing her family for the first time. I was nervous meeting her parents, but when I saw the little girl beside her mom, I was confused. I asked her if it was her little sister or a cousin of hers, and her answer shocked me. When she told me that that's her daughter, I thought I misheard her or something. At first, I wanted to dump her for hiding something so crucial from me, but she kept on begging me to stay, and eventually, I relented, and soon enough, I started to fall in love with her daughter and wanted to be her father figure. Our bond grew over the years, and in early 2019, before the pandemic hit, we got married. In late 2021, I adopted Lisa, and in early 2022, my wife gave birth to our son Mark. After my son was born, my wife made a choice to stay at home for the time being, and I was completely fine with that. Everything was going perfectly until a few months ago. I started noticing my wife increasingly spending time with her friends. At the time, I didn't say anything, since, in my mind, being at home all day was probably eating at her, and I didn't want to seem controlling. The thing that made me suspicious was her constant texting and going out of the room for calls. She never did that for anyone besides this one friend of hers. I asked her about it, but she gave me some vague answers about gossip. The moment that it went too far, though, was when I came home last week and saw her outside talking on the phone. This wasn't out of the ordinary. I remember seeing my son on the floor crying alone. I was pissed at my wife for just leaving him alone in the house, but when I went to pick him up and smelled the horrible stench coming from him, I was beyond furious. His diaper seemed like it hadn't been changed since the morning. I quickly changed his diaper and rushed outside with him in my arms. I was beyond pissed. I snatched her phone from her hand and I bolted back inside. I locked my wife outside to have a talk with this friend of hers alone. I had my suspicions about who it really was, and when I heard a male voice calling out her name and asking who was there, I immediately knew what was going on. He ended the call as soon as he heard my voice. I then proceeded to lock the front door to make sure that my wife couldn't enter the house at all, and proceeded to screenshot as much of their chat as I could and then send them to myself before deleting them off of her phone. About 5 minutes later, she was still banging on the glass door leading to the backyard. I reluctantly opened it and was met with a smack in the face. Remember, all this is happening while I'm holding a toddler in my arms. As soon as she realized what she had just done, she apologized profusely, started crying, and tried to hug me. I pushed her away and told her to meet me at the dining table. I told my daughter to quickly take care of the baby so me and her mom could have a quick chat. I told her that this was her only chance to even have a sliver of a chance of getting me back. If she messed up this talk, it was over on the spot. No lies, nothing. She kept on trying to apologize and say it wasn't serious. I reminded her that she not only effed me over, she could have easily done serious harm to our son by leaving him alone in the house like that. I then simply asked who, for how long, and did they sleep together? She replied her ex-boss Daniel, 6 months, and she didn't answer the last one, so I kept reminding her that this was her last chance. She then simply nodded. I then asked her if they used protection. To this, she started crying and started begging me for forgiveness. She said that she would block him then and there, would never contact him again, and I could sleep with any woman that I wanted from now, yada yada. I guess Lisa heard the commotion and came downstairs. I told her to go back up, but she just walked to my wife, and I asked her if she knew about Daniel. Up to this point, I was calm. But upon hearing this, I swear I even started to tear up. I asked her why she didn't tell me. She responded with, because unlike you, Daniel buys me things that I want without having to beg. I then asked her how she could possibly do this to her dad. She responded with the, "You're not my real dad" crap. My wife screamed at her upon hearing what she said. At that point, I couldn't bear any of this anymore. I just grabbed my son and got into the car. Me and my son are currently staying at my parents' house. I've basically been drinking myself to sleep every day. Thanks to the saint of a mother I have, my son is being taken care of right now. I'm beyond hurt. I've canceled my ex-daughter's private school tuitions, all her extracurricular activities, and I've contacted a divorce lawyer. He's going to serve my wife this Friday. My wife and Lisa have been blowing up my phone nonstop with apologies. I simply responded with, "Get a lawyer and tell that ungrateful thing of yours to start calling Daniel her dad. I'm disowning her." I then blocked my wife. I didn't respond to Lisa, I just simply blocked her. I guess my wife told her friends what her and Lisa did, and now they've been texting me nonstop. They understand how I feel, but believe that I'm going too far by divorcing my wife without hearing her out. They also keep telling me that disowning Lisa is definitely going too far, and she's only a kid and didn't understand what she was doing. I just can't get over the things that she told me. I've worked my ass off to give my wife and daughter luxuries. Luxuries I could have only dreamed of as a kid, and this is how I get paid back? Lisa, 13 years old, is old enough to understand that hiding her mom's affair is bad, and definitely purposely use those words to hurt me. But a part of me believes that there is still hope. A few family counseling sessions later, and we go back to living the life that I once considered a fairy tale. I'm beyond destroyed by this whole situation. A part of me just wants to see them burn in hell, but the other part of me believes there's still hope. Am I really going too far? Is there still hope?
Okay, I just absolutely lost it on this guy that I just started seeing. And I need you to tell me if I'm in the wrong, because I feel horrible. Bro, it was bad. I've only known this guy for 3 weeks. When we met, I told him specifically that I wasn't looking for anything super serious or super long term. I said that I wouldn't catch feelings, and then here I am. I'm the worst for that. It's like, he knew that I wanted something casual, but like, bro, like, we were literally hanging out like almost every day. Like, it's only been 3 weeks of knowing him, but I feel like I've known this man for literally months. And I have to keep constantly reminding myself and being like, you just met him. But I told him I wasn't talking to anybody else just because, like, it's a courtesy. And also, I don't really believe in rosters. I just feel like it's stupid to have a bunch of people that you're talking to at once. No hate to anybody who has rosters. It's just, like, I get way too emotionally invested to have multiple guys that I'm talking to because I'll literally fall in love with all of them. Or worse, fall in love with one of them and then everybody else looks like Shrek. So, he told me that he doesn't have time to see anybody else, which is a little questionable. Like, why don't you just say that you're not seeing anybody else? When we hang out together, we act kind of like we're in a relationship, and I know it's really toxic, and I know you're not supposed to do that with people that you're just casually seeing. Shit kind of felt like it was getting serious very quickly. Like, for me, like, meeting his parents and also meeting all of his best friends and meeting his sibling and everything, meeting all of his coworkers too, it's just like I was immediately thrown into this man's life. Okay, I actually love that, and I die for that. Like, that's exactly the type of man that I want. So we were hanging out yesterday, and I was gonna stay over at his house. So I brought my overnight bag, I had everything, and we were chilling in his living room, playing video games or whatever. We're drinking a lot. Oh, not my best habit, but I really like getting drunk on dates. It's Tuesday, by the way, midweek. We're not bums, okay? We both have our days off on Wednesdays. So that's why we were drinking. We're drunk as hell, and his phone rings. I look over because I'm sitting right next to him, like right next to him, and his phone is right here on his lap. So I see the phone, and it rings, and his ringer's on. I look at it, and it says, no caller ID. He picks it up. No caller ID? Let's find out who this is together. Answers the phone, and I hear a girl on the other end say, hello? Is this blah blah? He goes, yeah, this is blah blah. It's Paige. Do you remember me? And he's like, Paige? So she goes, I thought that you were really cute and my friend knows who you are, so I got your phone number off of them. And he's like, oh, which friend? Which mutual friend do we have? She's like, I don't want to say. So I don't endorse what I'm about to say. And I don't suggest that anybody do what I'm about to say that I did. I don't suggest that anybody do this. I am the type of person that if something is bothering me, I just go 0 to 1,000. And like, I hate it, but I really do give in to those thoughts. Like, you know, those fucking crazy girl thoughts. I get those a lot. And when I'm drunk, especially, and when I really like somebody, I physically cannot hold back. At this point, I'm actually getting angry because I'm like, bro, why are you on the phone entertaining this girl, by the way? Somebody random on no caller ID called me at 1 a.m. on a Tuesday. And they were saying that they knew me, but they didn't want to say how. Click. Weirdo. I can hear her. I just thought you were really cute and you just helped me so much in the store and I really wanted to get to know you and I really wanted to talk to you and get in contact with you. So he's on the phone like, oh. He looks over at me and all he sees is just, and he's still like on the phone with her. So his solution, he stands up. Next to me, still right next to me, but stands up. Why are you standing up? So I look at him and I'm like, what, you got a girlfriend or something? You got a girlfriend or something? Is that your girlfriend that's calling you? Is that a girl? Why are you moving in on a man whose girl was screaming in the background when you phoned him at 1 a.m.? She laughed and she heard my voice in the background. I heard her hear my voice. Who's calling me at 1 a.m.? It's Tuesday. I'm not proud of that at all. I'm not proud of that at all. I need to control my emotions more. I get it. Okay, I understand. But you have to understand that I really like him. Sure, yeah, maybe it could be just some awkward girl that doesn't know how to get guys, or maybe it could be a prank call. But the timing is what was suspicious to me because it was 1 a.m. on a Tuesday night. Who phoned somebody on no caller ID either, talking about how, I don't want to say who gave me your phone number. It's Paige. You met me at work. Looks at me and he's like, I don't have a girlfriend. He didn't say, I don't have a girlfriend. I don't know who this girl is. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't know who's calling me. Just, I don't have a girlfriend. She laughed. She's like, okay. Well, anyway, talking his ear off. Girl, you hear that he's with a girl in the background. You can hear that there's a girl in the background who is with him at 1 a.m. And you're just continuing to be like, meh. So he hangs up the phone, looks at me. I'm still like, he goes, that was weird. And I'm like, yeah. Who's Paige? This just seems really sus to me. And I'm really uncomfortable with the situation. Like, I feel like that was really disrespectful of you to even answer and entertain that phone call when you're sitting with me and you're having a good time with me. I just feel really disrespected and uncomfortable right now, and I feel like you're lying to me. This escalated very quickly. This escalated into me being like, how many girls do you give your phone number out to that you don't even remember who you're giving your phone number out to? You have no clue in the world who could have just prank called you, who that could have been. No clue. I am fucking with somebody, even if it's not exclusive on paper. I'm fucking with one person. I didn't realize you were a whore. It's very offended that I call him a whore. And he looks at me and he goes, well, what do you want me to say? I'm sorry. The guy you're with has some options. You got some competition. I lost it. Pack my things, put it in my bag. As I'm packing it, he's like, I don't care. Leave. I don't give a fuck. I start crying. Tears just streaming down my face. Nobody, oh my God, I'm choking up right now. And I get it. I called him a whore. Nobody likes to be called a hoe either. But to look at somebody and say, you're just an option and you've got some competition. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm sorry that girls think that I'm cute. After us saying we're not seeing anybody else, I go to my car and I realize I'm drunk. I'm too drunk to drive. I can't get in a car. I'm drunk. What am I doing? March my ass back in there. 2 hours. We fought like this until 3 in the morning. We made up. It was like this half-assed, like squashed. I go on my phone and I search Paige on his following on Instagram. Nothing. I spelled it 3 different ways. I just searched him up, his following. He's now following a page. The whole night just really hurt my feelings. So I don't know. Am I being overreactive? Here's a 1-week update on the situation. I did talk to him again and it did not go well at all. I may have accidentally made things worse. Don't mind the hair. It's gonna be white blonde in a week, so just deal with it for now. I did end up staying over at his house the night that we fought. The next morning, he was acting like everything was just fine and dandy. I dropped him off at work the next morning and he left my car and he was like, I had a lot of fun with you last night. I'll see you again soon. Later that night, I FaceTimed him and I told him that I needed to talk. I just started the conversation with me saying like, I can't see him anymore. And it's because I like him too much for this like casual thing that we're doing, because I want to take some responsibility here. I do really fall. I get in my feelings, you know what I mean? It was like a 45-minute call and I just told him like I would need some type of commitment with him. Otherwise, there's going to be more fights and there's going to be more craziness because I'm going to get jealous and it's just going to keep happening. I was trying to come at it from a very like, this is how I feel and this is what I did wrong perspective. Like, I really don't like coming at people where I'm like pointing in their face, like, you did this, you made me feel this way, it's because of you. I wasn't like that at all. I apologized because my emotions were running high. The reason why I was crying and stormed out, it wasn't just because I was drunk, because I can't handle my liquor. One day prior to this, one of my best friends from high school actually passed away suddenly. It hit me really hard because this was the 3rd best friend that I've lost in the last few years. I made a post on my private story, did like this whole tribute thing. Then he replied, sorry about your friend. Which, you know, some people are weird with, like, some people are weird with that kind of stuff. Some people don't really know, like, when it comes to death. Some people are weird, so it's fine. Like, and we don't really know each other that well, so he didn't owe me anything. But all he said was, sorry about your friend, slant face emoji. So I told him on FaceTime, I stand by everything that I said, and I stand by me being upset because of the phone call. But, like, I apologized for storming out and crying and making a big fuss over it because my emotions were running high because my friend had just passed away. I really didn't want to say anything that made him look bad because that's not my intention. I'm really not trying to put somebody on blast. That's really not what I'm trying to do. I feel like I kind of need to say this because there was a lot of comments being like, he doesn't owe me anything. It's not about him owing things. It's the fact that he was very, very rude to me. And this is a good example to prove that point. When I told him that my emotions were running high because my friend passed away, he told me, well, if you want to play the dead friend card, my sibling's partner passed away 4 years ago. So I know how that feels too. And it wasn't like, I know how that feels too. It was, I know how that feels too. Moving on. We were kind of like at the midpoint through our discussion and conversation about like what we each wanted, and he told me that he had to go because he was tired because it was like literally 1:45 in the morning. So like what we went through, I would say that we ended it on a pretty good note, and we both agreed that we were going to continue this conversation the next day or in person. He was like smiling at me like, good night, have a good night. Like it was very like nice, very calm energy. I hang up the phone, he goes to sleep. I don't hear from him for 5 days. I assume maybe it's because he's pissed off that I didn't want to keep having this casual thing with him anymore. Maybe he was like missing me. I don't know. Like he kind of, I get the sense that he gets in his feelings a lot. I don't know. He just totally disappeared until day number 5. So he sends an 8-ball pool request to me with like nothing else. Like not like, hey, how are you? Not how are you doing? Not can we talk? Just 8-ball pool. We go from talking every day, hanging out every day, having sleepovers every day, me meeting everyone in your life, and then you don't hustle me for 5 days and then send me 8-ball pool. So that same day, I was having a really bad day, you guys. Anybody who would have saw my profile may have seen that I posted the exact same video 3 times in a row over the course of 3 days and then kept deleting it. That was not me. That was a brand that I was working with, and it was really, really stressing me out. I posted on my private story. This is what I posted on my private story. My private story has about like 40 people. My best friends, my close friends. But then also he was on my private story. I wasn't going to add him to my private story. He actually saw me post something on my phone to my private story, and then he was like, you have a private story? And I was like, yeah, I can add you to the private story if you want. I got a lot of support, a lot more support honestly than I expected to get. I had a lot of my friends replying to my story being like, we're here for you, we got you, you got this. I look at who viewed my private story, because sometimes he'll literally be the first person to view all my stories. I honestly thought that he had like post notifications on for my Instagram account. And it said that it was viewed by 38 followers and 1 non-follower. I kind of had a feeling that the non-follower would be him. It was. And about like 4 or 5 hours after I made that post, I also posted 2 memes on my private story. I posted this one reel of these TikTok guys that do like, if she does this, don't trust her. If he does this, don't date him. You might have seen those guys. They're pretty like big. So that was what I had directly after it. So I texted him and I was like, are you good? Are you okay? You seem upset. And he responds after like 4 minutes or less. Yeah, I'm good. I was just bored at work and wanted to play 8-ball pool, LOL. And then I said, really? Because you unfollowed me. Did you unfollow me because I didn't want to play 8-ball pool with you? He said, nah, saw your subliminal story posts, LOL. I'm over you, to be honest. Stay blessed though. That wasn't a subliminal story post. I posted a girl version of the meme immediately after. Seriously, that meme was not about you on everything, and why would it be about you when I was literally the one asking for more with you and a commitment from you? I'm sorry that I upset you. You didn't upset me. I thought we were good too until an hour after I texted you. I see a story of you with your middle finger up saying you're sad and irritated. Laugh face emoji. Then the posts to follow. I guess I'm tripping though. We good, period. So that was what I explained, and I don't want to show you everything, but that's how much paragraphs, screenshots even, to prove that it wasn't about him. Like, my post was not about him. It was about stress with brands. He didn't respond to any of that. I texted him the next day, are you good today? He said, yeah, my bad. Hope everything with the brands are good. And then I said, next time you have a question or you're wondering about something or think I'm posting about you, you can just ask me. I would never post about you. And then he didn't respond to that, so I said, hope you have a good day today. And then he didn't respond to that either. I have a theory that Paige is not a real girl. I don't think that she's a real girl. I think that that was somebody who he was seeing, who was prank calling him, pretending to be a girl named Paige. I think he just searched Paige and then followed all the pages that had mutuals with him. And I think that's why he followed like 3 pages. So you guys, there's one more thing. After that story got a lot of views, Media Rap reached out to me. He's the media rep for a really big media group. Lad Bible, Metro, Daily Mail, MTV, The Jimmy Kimmel Show. This media group provides content for all of them, like to make little articles or like cutaways or like little features or something about it. This media rep asked me if he could obtain the rights to distribute my I just lost it on the guy that I'm seeing story time. So you might see that story on the news. I don't know when and I don't know where, but you might see it. So if you think about it, I think that that's kind of turning a bad situation into a good situation, because now I get licensing and royalty fees. I guess as a life lesson for all of you, anytime you have an issue, just put it online and you'll probably make money and feel a lot better.
Am I wrong for asking my sister to babysit? Story time. So I have a younger sister who we will call Amy. And I basically raised Amy, right? She basically had to get removed from my mum's care, so I took her in. She lives with me now because she decided to drop out of college. And she's decided that she wants to work full-time for a while so she can decide what she wants to do with her life. Fair play. She's currently working around 50 hours a week as a nanny. So me and my husband Steve had a baby about 2 months ago. So before he was born, my sister offered to watch him a few days a week. She said this was a thank you for letting her live with us rent-free. So since he's been born, she has now changed her tune. She no longer wants to watch him anymore. She has 1 or 2 days off a week, and we respect these as her days off, so we try not to burden her. She says that on her days off, she would like to be child-free. And to her credit, she does help around the house and do bits and bobs like that. And she will watch the baby here and there. However, this issue occurred earlier today. I asked Amy if she wouldn't mind babysitting my son on one of her days off, and she mentioned that she had plans with a friend that day. And then the second day, she intended to use that to do little errands and do her chores like laundry and stuff. So I was like, oh, on the day that you're doing errands, could you like take him with you? Or when you're tidying up, just have him sat by you? And she declined and said that she would not be able to get anything done because he never ever wants to be put down. She has to hold him all the time. So I told her that this was not what we agreed to before he was born. And if I had known, I could have made other arrangements for childcare. And this is when she blew up at me and was like, I had a completely different job then, and she doesn't want to work on her days off. I don't really see it as working, but whatever, queen. So she suggested paying a babysitter. But why would I do that when I have a literal professional babysitter in my house? And she's also his auntie too. She thinks I'm being very over-demanding of her. And she was saying how I should have thought about this before I decided to conceive. Now this comment felt a little bit unnecessary, because like I said, we had spoken about it before the baby was born. So not sure what your point is there, Amy. Just a little edit. We have thought about charging her rent before, but she said that we just need to give her a heads up so that she can find enough time to move out. The only reason she's living with us is because she's living rent-free. So what do you think? Am I wrong here?
This one is the wife's response to the AITA for kicking my wife out after she punched my mom in the face. I'm still grieving at the loss of my marriage, but my friend had notified me about my husband's post that had too many specific details that were hard to ignore. To clarify, this is my first time on Reddit. I read my soon-to-be ex-husband's post and wanted to give my side of the story and include details that he didn't provide in his post. For those who hadn't read it, long story short, my husband kicked me out of the house after his mother had physically slapped my stomach in front of him, and I punched her in self-defense. I loved my husband dearly, but this lack of action regarding his mother's behavior was extremely disgusting, to say the least. I tolerated his mom's behavior long enough until I couldn't take it anymore, as he had overlooked his mom's behavior over and over again until finally I had enough. I was still recovering after giving birth to his child when his mom slapped my stomach, and my husband exaggerated when he said it wasn't a hard slap. Slap itself was hard enough to be heard by everyone in the room. I had lost it at this point when his mother slapped my stomach with a turd-eating smirk that wasn't visible from my husband's point of view. At least that's what my husband claimed. I had a mental breakdown when my husband told me to leave after kicking everyone out of the house. You should have seen his face when he told me to get out, with a straight face and without hesitation. Our baby was crying at this point before I left, and I couldn't do anything but cry that night after I went to stay with my mother. His mother sent me a text mockingly saying, "I'm going to file charges against you for assault, you fat little whore. Now stay the out of our lives." I was livid and decided I did not want to be associated with this family anymore and served my husband divorce papers. And as you can guess, he didn't take it well and tried to get me to reconsider. I told him that he overlooked his mother's behavior one too many times and that I was done with him and his inability to establish boundaries with his mother. I recommended setting boundaries, but he didn't think it was necessary, even after I told him throughout the pregnancy about the nasty names his mother called me when he wasn't around, and he always brushed it off. And even though he did tell his mom to stop, she would continue this behavior after a short pause for a while. Before I left after handing him divorce papers, he begged me for another chance and told me he cut contact with his mother permanently. I told him that he is sorry now that I handed him divorce papers, and that he was too late to act now that I had decided I wanted out of the marriage. I told him I loved him so much that he should look at it as a sign that if I didn't, then I would have divorced him long ago, because he didn't stand up for me multiple times, and I let his mother's snarky comments and behavior slide at my mental expense. I told him he needed help with the trauma because I understand that he is dealing with trauma since he already mentioned his abusive stepdad, but he didn't even realize that his mother hadn't gotten him help for his trauma and that he is still being affected in his adulthood. What I can't understand is why she didn't leave if he needed some space instead of being such a heartless bastard and kicking our child out with me. I've been ignoring his texts and calls ever since, and I'm waiting for a divorce hearing. Something I wanted to point out is that his mother has attributed to his niece's weight gain since she lives with my husband's sister to save money. I, once again, told my husband about his niece's weight gain. It's concerning that she weighs 190 pounds at such a young age, and she was indeed not that weight before. On the day of the incident, I was making the niece's second portion of food, and then my husband's mother came towards me and snatched the plate out of my hands and said, "I'll do it myself. Let me take care of it." And when I tried to take the plate back, his mother said, "I know what to do. I was shocked that she thinks that her grandchild's weight was normal for her age. I couldn't take this harassment or abuse any longer, and my breaking point was reached when he kicked me and our child out of the house. Now I need to do what's right for our child because she doesn't need to be in a toxic household where she has to witness the drama going on. My soon-to-be ex-husband wants to do marriage counseling, to which I have refused to do so because I am done. I started to feel slightly guilty with his begging and gaslighting. I just want to be done with him. I've blocked him as recommended by my lawyer, but he keeps reaching out through his family, through his other family members and siblings. What should I do to make him go away until the divorce hearing?
Get ready with me while I talk about my thoughts on religion. For starters, I'm atheist. I don't really have a religion. But until I was about the age of 12, 13, I was super duper Christian. I was born into it. But I realized while going to church that, like, it just didn't make sense. And I would always ask the kid teacher, I forgot what it was called, the teacher, and I was like, is it okay for me to feel like this? Is it okay for me not to believe in this or to be questioning it? And I don't know if it was just my church, but he was so rude about it. He was like, no, you can't feel that way. You have to put your whole heart or you're going to hell. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I started doing my own research around 7th and 8th grade about all the different religions and seeing which one I fit in with more and all this different stuff, and none of it really made sense to me. I'm like a don't say it to me, show it to me, so I can't really believe anything with just faith alone, which is on me. It just didn't make sense to me. I was really researching mad hard into these religions, and none of it had enough proof for me to put my whole heart and soul into it. But at the same time, say you really do believe in something and then you die and it doesn't happen. That's like a fear of mine. Not dying. I'm not really scared of dying. But a fear of mine is like putting my whole life into believing something and worshiping something and then for it all to come to an end and mean nothing. Like, what if you spend your whole life worshiping one thing and then you die and you realize you were worshiping the wrong thing? Like, that's literally so scary. And at the same time, it's not that I don't believe any religion. It's that I believe, like, little parts of all of it, or I want to believe. Buddhism, I really want to believe in reincarnation. That's something doesn't make sense scientifically, but I want it to be real. Because, like, have y'all seen those videos of, like, kids being born with the same exact birthmark as their, like, grandma? Or, like, same exact, like, paint that their grandma put on them? That's so cool. And then it's like, it's not that I don't believe in God. It's that I don't know which version of him to believe in. In my mind, it just doesn't really make sense. But neither does, like, scientific, like, the Big Bang Theory. Like, that shit doesn't make sense either. Because how did anything become anything? Like, no one will know. No one will ever know, and that's the moral of the story. Don't hate on people for their religion because you never know. You never know what's going to happen after death until you die. I'm not saying you can't have a religion or you shouldn't have a religion. I'm saying you do you, but don't hate on other people for not doing you. And y'all better not fucking twist my words and say I'm hating on religion. I'm not hating on religion, okay? I just don't get into that stuff. Like, I just can't. I just don't have a very faith-filled heart. Also, this is totally, like, besides the whole point of the video. But can someone explain to me what Lala Bop is? Like, what the fuck is that? I keep seeing people on my For You page, like, scared of it. Is it like a person? Is it? I'm so confused. I've never heard of this in my life. Also, as me being Christian for so many years, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to love everyone equally, or not like equally, but you're supposed to love and respect everyone. So why the fuck are y'all telling me to literally die because I don't believe in it anymore? If you're gonna be Christian, don't go against it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're gonna put your whole heart into something, don't go against it. Also, totally besides the point, for my blind people out there, do y'all prefer contacts or glasses? Because I have glasses. I just don't like them on me anymore. Also, I'm going to clarify myself right fucking now, and I'm not making another video clarifying myself. I am not hating or being disrespectful to anyone's religion right now. I am simply stating how I feel about religion, none in specific, but every religion ever to ever exist. And if you don't like it, literally block me. You can scroll, but just fucking leave me alone.